Terry McLaurin and the Commanders are not close to a new deal, according to Albert Breer of MMQB this weekend, working with SI. Adam Schefter today was just on ESPN on Pat McAfee's show, and he gave some details. The numbers he threw out there are that McLaurin's camp's looking for plus side of $30 million, which makes sense because DK Metcalf got 33. The Commanders are looking at guys like Mike Evans, whose AAV is actually 20.5 on his deal, but he's about to make 24 and change, and they're going, dude, 33 is a lot on this market. You're $2 million away from Justin Jefferson, who just got paid a year ago. We can't do that. And by the way, that would be my argument. I would just kind of stop there. Like Chase resetting the market at 40 this offseason is absolutely going to be what his agent is using to their advantage, as they should. But if I'm going to Terry McLaurin, I'm going, Justin Jefferson just signed for a couple million, like 1.5 million more than you're asking for. You go back and look in the mirror and tell me that makes sense. Now, both things are true because they both are out there. But I'm sorry, dude. Justin Jefferson with his hand tied behind his back. Yes, over my guy. I love Terry McLaurin. But give me a break. Now, not how it works. It's your turn to get paid. I'm going to take care of you. You are the man. You're Mr. Commander. You do everything the right way. So in the end, would I end up paying him $30 million? I would. Would I pay him 31? Yeah. 32 is kind of where it gets hairy. But I think that's what it's going to take. So yes, I'll probably end up paying him $32 million. But I am right now holding strong because why wouldn't I? It's June 30th. I'm telling him, hey, 25 is where we need to be, buddy. And in the end, if like my hit, you always say, what's your walk away point?
Yep.
My walk away point would be the Metcalf contract, which he's going to
33.
Right. Which is way too much. It's a terrible deal to give him, but I have the luxury of giving him a bad deal over the next couple of years, which I would front load as best I could because Jaden Daniels is not getting paid yet. And I think by the time Jaden Daniels starts getting big money, McLaurin's contract will be done anyway.
I think it's smartly put. So two things to me. One, I'm going to play some hardball here, knowing at the end of the day that he'll play for me and it'll end up working out, right? So I'm not just going to do 32 right now this minute, right? I may end up probably going to that point, but I would try to avoid that, which is what the team's doing. So that means you're climbing all over yourself or each other to sign a contract that's probably not a great deal for you at this point. Everyone's got to walk away grumbling a little bit for it to make a lot of sense. And McLaurin's camp, this is their last chance to do this, right? If he signs another contract after this, it'll be much different. It'll be one of those Larry Fitzgerald lifetime achievement deals. Maybe it's an Art Monk signing somewhere else towards the end of his years. This is the last big prime window where he can cash in at the top of the market. So he's trying to do that. That's very reasonable to me after his career season. I would too, by the way, right? So I get why it's not done yet.
One other important number we've got to throw out there is that McLaurin made 23.2 AAV on his last deal.
Mm-hmm.
Take your own job. When you did that, whatever that number was, and then you had your best year, and you seem to be ascending, and now you're ready to go put up better numbers than you were before, and you were making that, you want a pretty sizable raise. They're coming to you with what is the NFL equivalent of cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
If they're saying Mike Evans money, Mike Evans makes, on average, this coming year, 24 and change, like $1 million more than Terry's AAV. So he's saying, no. I'm due a raise. I just had my best season. You guys just saw what I'm actually capable of with the grown-up quarterback. His number this year is 25.5. How could you possibly try to sign him again at 25 if Schefter's floating that number? That's not how business works. I need a raise. I need more money, which is why I think it's going to be way closer to 30 when this thing gets done anyway. So it isn't that reasonable. He made 24 last year, 25.5 this year, that they would go to him and say, 25 is where you should be. But this was Schefter on McAfee.
There's no update, which is the update. And that's the problem. The problem is, with this particular situation, I think Terry McLaurin is going to argue that we've seen other wide receivers who his numbers are comparable to, like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and DK Metcalf, get paid over $30 million a year this offseason. And I think the Commanders then can say yes, but Mike Evans, who also has had comparable numbers, is at $24 million.
Let's go to Vince in Maryland to get started here on the phones. 800-636-1067. What's up, Vince? How are you?
What's good, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, buddy.
So I clearly get all the points that are being made. And my biggest thing is, if at the end of the day we sign Terry's not getting traded, we're going to give him his money. Why do the song and dance? Like, that just feels so. It feels so not what we're supposed to be under this new management and new GM, and like, we're supposed to be the guys that say this makes sense. Let's do the make sense thing right now. Let's invite the family to the cookout and make them feel good. Like, why play the song and dance if we're gonna get what we're getting? Because we're not moving on from Terry. Terry's going to get his money.
Well, if the reality is that at the end of this, he's 100% going to be here and signed, which I do think is true, then that's an interesting point. Let's not play games. How's this going to end? Let's just start there and end it.
Because I don't see this, though, as a Hendrickson Cincinnati thing where people are saying nasty stuff. If we get to that point, then I would probably be more in line with that. This, to me, though, is just the standard bit of negotiating. It's not in the team's interest, even though they love the guy. We're all having a love fest, but you're still not. It's not in your best interest to pay the guy $8 million more against the cap each year for the next several seasons.
And that
right?
would be my rebuttal. Would be it's just business. It's not personal, because the new regime does things correctly and operates in a family-friendly way. You could absolutely still be doing that while he's not being paid. I saw a clip on the internet recently where someone was saying, when it comes to service, basically, we grade things on whether or not we get what we want. That's the idea. Like, you have to give me what I want, or else I'm going to say I don't like that place. Like, you call an airline and say, hey, I've got a flight for tomorrow. I need to change it to today. And if they don't let you, then you're mad. But that's not always the case. Like, when I call in and say, hey, I got a flight tomorrow, I need to change it. If you just say, can't do that. Hey, we don't do that. Sorry. Can't do that. And over again, and I hang up, now I hate you. But if I call in and say, I got a flight tomorrow, I got to change and get out tonight, and the person goes, yeah, we're not really allowed to do that, but let me see what I can do. And they look and they're like, no, that's not going to work. Let me go talk to my boss. And like 30 minutes later, you still can't do it, but they talk to two people and they're very apologetic.
And they tried to help you.
It just makes you feel like they understand your situation. Yeah. They might be doing it that way. It used to be maybe that they go, nope, you're not as good as Justin Jefferson. And maybe they're showing them all the plays where you almost are as good as Justin Jefferson. Like, I think it could be said that the front office is in fact doing exactly what he's talking about. They're doing everything the right way by making sure that they don't overpay guys, just to overpay them, which was a thing many, many years ago. Hasn't been in a while, because I think the last group was pretty cheap, actually. Let's go to Jay in DC. What's up? Jay.
How dare you, sir? Anyway.
What number is your walk-away point?
This is what's so, because it sounds like I don't value Terry McLaurin when I start saying these sorts of things. But I would try, and this is oversimplifying the cap, right? Where I'm sure you can look at an AAV, it says 32, but it actually plays out more like, 26 or 27 in certain years with the guaranteed money and void years and a bunch of things that don't make sense to me. But just for the sake of argument, I wouldn't do the Metcalf number. I would go, that's too high. I think Pittsburgh made the wrong signing there. There are too many players that are too good who are making significantly less than that. And they didn't sign their deal 7 years ago.
Right.
Like, they were just in line. It's not like, that's you're basing stuff off 3, 4, 5-year-old contracts that are towards their end with a totally different CBA, different salary cap and everything else. There's a bunch of guys in this range of 27, 28, 29 million bucks. I would happily negotiate to that point. I would get there.
Looking at the poll right now, and it's our Metropolitan Moving and Storage poll of the day, Team Terry or the team, if they are around 25, 26 versus 32 or 33 million, and the two offers are what they're looking for. 60% of respondents are Team McLaurin, which I don't think surprises me.
No.
Because he's got several years here, beloved by the fan base. The front office that everybody thinks can't do anything wrong, and understandably, they're 1 for 1. I love Peters as much as anybody. But as much as don't question them, benefit of the doubt, leave them alone. People did the same thing with Ron Rivera, by the way.
Yep.
It just so happens that Rivera was incompetent, and this group is not, and Peters is actually good. But they did the same thing when Rivera won a fake division title with 7 wins. It was in Ron we trust. Now it's in Adam we trust. But you've had a longer track record with McLaurin, and you just nobody's got an Adam Peters jersey right now. So I think more people will side with McLaurin, even if the team's idea is the right business idea. Black and white, no relationships, emotions involved. the less you can pay him, the better for the team. And when you look at the numbers, as you said, the Steelers' contract with Metcalf is not good. Jay in D.C., let's try it again. What's up?
Hey, sorry, man. Thanks for taking the call back again. I'm Team McLaren, and I'm not against Adam Peters, but here's my thing. I kind of agree with the first caller then. Why do the song and dance? We don't need to. I come from this angle. Terry, he's he's homegrown. Since we drafted him, he brought us on his third contract with us. And the 30 years I've been Skins fan, or 40 years I've been Skins fan, I don't know how many players we actually signed for a third contract. So he's one of ours. We know we can do. So Grant, I hear you when you say, the market value, we don't want to overpay, but we pay what he's worth to us. And that's all that matters. I don't care what DK Metcalf, I don't care what Chase and them get. I don't care what none of them get paid. We pay him what he's worth to us. And so to me, I think 30, 32, that's just right on the money. And like I say, we have the money.
But what if you're offering 30 and he's saying he needs more? Like, is there a point where you go, what if he's saying 34? And then you try to meet him in the middle of 32?
Yeah, I'll say, come on, let's split the difference. There's always a point where we say, hey, that's too much.
And what is that?
We're not going to give him a blank check.
What is that?
For me personally, I say around the 31 to 33, that's that sweet spot. Maybe 34 tops. I don't know if I'll go past 34.
So it sounds like you and I are in lockstep on money. I just wonder, I have a hard time realistically thinking Terry McLaurin would want more than, or would need more than 33 in a world where Justin Jefferson's AAV is 35. And I got a tweet from someone here saying the AAV is probably not the important. It's the guaranteed money. Well, it's all important. The AAV matters a lot because cap numbers are related to that. And where do you get your cap numbers and your AAV from? A lot of that is, it works together with the guaranteed money. But if you're looking at guarantees, Chase got 109.9, Jefferson got 110, Lamb got 100, Metcalf got 80 million in total guaranteed money. And fully guaranteed, like at signing, was 60 million, which is kind of the more realistic number. AJ Brown 51 million. So maybe McLaurin wants 60 million in guarantees. And Lamb got 67, Jefferson got 88, Chase got 73, and Washington's going to him and going, well, last time you got 34 million in guarantees. You look at a guy like DJ Moore got 43 million. He's asking for 60. That could be where they're really far apart. Higgins got 30 million in guarantees. Half of it, I'm just saying hypothetically, if McLaurin's asking for Metcalf money, half of what McLaurin might want. Ayuk just got 45. I can't give you 60 million. Again, the Metcalf contract is crazy. It really screwed them up.
Yeah, Pittsburgh looked very desperate when they did that. And sometimes you do those kinds of deals when you are desperate. See Cleveland and Deshaun Watson, for example, is one that everyone goes, okay, this resets the market. And the league was going, no, it doesn't. No, thank you. No one else is doing that. No one's coming close to that.